So, it's 3 in the morning and I can't sleep, so I'm going to read a science fiction story that I wrote. Well, this folder's not dated, but early high school, maybe 9th grade, 10th grade, maybe even before then, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's just read this aloud so we can all cringe together. Anyway, let's get on to it. It's called Planet X. God, I'm gonna cringe. Start over. Planet X. Not sure whose perspective this is from. Anyway. Have you ever felt that there was something else out there? Something in the universe that not you or anyone else would know about? Something that not even Albert Einstein could explain? Well, if you've ever felt this, you are like me. God, cringe. I'm not talking about life on Mars. We already know that's true. I'm talking about something much deeper in the universe, something so far away and buried under the black absence of space that not even the most powerful telescope on Earth could see it in broad daylight. But I've seen it. It is only visible once a year, and at night. The date, 12/23 at approximately 10:03 p.m. Not sure why I chose that. I have discovered that it is a planet, a dead planet. At my first look at it, I assumed it was a star. Not a dead star. It looked like a blue giant. I was wrong. It was indeed a planet. I was dazed with confusion. It was millions of light years away from Pluto alone, but it was shining so bright, all on its own. Not a star giving it light for... Not a star giving it light for trillions of light years. I did research on foreign planets beyond Pluto that were in the Milky Way galaxy. None. But I did find out that the rings of the planet give off a light of its own. Oh, it's got rings. Oh, God, what's happening? But only a few rings could not make a whole planet glow like it did. Right. This means it had to be covered in rings. During my research, I also found that the reason you can only see the mysterious planet on December 23rd at 10:03 p.m. it was because this is the date and time where the sun is at its darkest point, so it slightly dims. I was a smart bitch when I was younger. This gives the mysterious planet a chance to let its powerful light shine above the sun, but the sun's dimming point lasts for a couple days. Why can you only see other light in our solar system for only a couple minutes? I thought to myself. It is because this was the planet's highest shining point, but because it is a planet, it only lasts a few minutes. This is amazing, I said aloud. I was so amazed by all of this, I decided to search for more information. But as I searched, I realized that there was no information on the specific planet itself. I don't think anyone has ever discovered it before. So I went to sleep that night with my head full of crazy dreams about the mysterious planet. The next day, after my breakfast, I sent a letter to NASA, the International Space Program. Yeah, we know. God, I really was 12, wasn't I? Telling them that I've discovered something fascinating. They sent me an email telling me to go to the headquarters in Washington, D.C. I buzzed with excitement as I packed a phone, a laptop, a few clothes, and other light travel items. I dove into my car and drove the highway. It took me 2.5 hours to get to D.C. That's how you know I was a child. 2.5 hours. I live in Southern California. That's like a 20, 30-hour drive? Hell no. Anyway. When I got there, I asked for directions to NASA Space Center headquarters. When we got there, I met David Michaels, a specialist in new space discoveries. A great name. David Michaels is one of the few people looking for planets besides Earth that can sustain life. Oh, Elon. Oh, no. Anyway. I talked to him for nearly an hour and thought, this is time. I showed him all my facts and gave him the websites in which I tracked the information. It was very intricate, he said extravagantly. Let me take this to my office and put it away. You may come if you like. Oh God, this is Elon. Why did I write him into existence? Stop. Thank you, I said excitedly. David smiled and led me down a long, dry hallway. Dry. We reached a long, narrow door and printed on it were caution warnings and chemical warnings. David typed in a series of complex numbers into a small touchscreen keypad positioned by the door. He led me in the front doorway and he paused. Edited. I'm not sure I'm allowed to let you in here, but it should be okay this one time, David said. He smiled once more and led me into a large safe. Red flag. Stay by the door, he commanded. Without a word, I respectfully followed his order. He seemed serious all of a sudden. Noticing this, I knew I'd better take caution. He put the information in the safe. Top secret, he mumbled. You will assist me on this topic, he said. Also, if you do well, I can award you with a scholarship for astronomy in a nice college. If you would like that, David said. He still seemed serious. But I did not pay attention to that because my heart was pounding with joy as the words cycled from his lips. Yes, please, I stuttered with happiness. I have loved astronomy since I was 14. Okay, that's a lot. And I only sit at home with my telescope watching comets. Now it is reality. David realized my excitement and chuckled softly. Creepy. Can't believe I wrote this insane shit. He led me back down the long hallway and out to the parking lot. What does it say? It's just so many little notes. He led me back down the long hallway and out to the parking lot. Which is yours? May I drive? He asked intentionally? I don't know. I was 12. At this point, I trusted David enough to let him drive my car. I didn't have a car at that age. Where was my head? My first car was a Tercel. Yeah, you could drive that shit. Whatever. Anyway, at this point, I trusted David enough to let him drive my car. Children. Sure, I said as I handed him the keys. He started the car and drove to a nearby area about a mile behind the station. He parked perfectly, got out. Parked perfectly? God, head over heels for this guy? What? He parked perfectly, got out, and handed me the keys. I got out and looked up. It was at least 30 feet tall and a half a mile wide. Here we are, he exclaimed. In front of me was a shuttle. Ooh, okay. A rocket and a huge building. We entered. It was empty. Quiet. We went up a series of stairs to a tall floor. Here we go. A numerous amount of important-looking beings were crowded around a large control panel. They turned to look at us as we entered. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Miles Davis. That's me. He has discovered a mysterious planet approximately 4 million light years from Pluto. We need to find out about it. It is my job to find a planet that can sustain life. Earth is dying, David spoke. Everyone froze in fright as he said those words. But soon, they got over it. I wrote that. They got over it? What do you mean? You will take an astronaut's training, he said to me. My face lit up. He smiled. It will take a week to fully prepare you. You mean I'm going to this planet? I asked. Yes, he replied. But we have never designed a craft worthy enough to even get us to Pluto, he said. It will take months, even years to design this craft. We should get busy then, one of the other people in the room shouted out. Sorry, I'm bad with like my enunciations on like the different people speaking just because I'm reading this for the first time and I don't even know how many years. I was 12. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't. Where the hell was I? I can't with this. We're gonna get through this. There's a lot. I might have to do a second upload, but I will have to break this up into 2 parts. Anyway, stop. You will have to take astronaut training, he said to me. My face lit up. He smiled. It'll take a few weeks to a few months to prepare you. I had to edit because child brain. You mean I'm going to this planet? I asked. Yes, he replied, but we have never even made his craft design worthy enough to, yeah. Nothing can make it past Pluto. We get it. We should get busy then, one of the people in the room shouted out. Dr. Herx, get Mr. Davis here started on his training. The rest of you may come with me to the design lab. A week later, my training was complete. A week? Child brain. I'll go to space in a week. Right. But it would still take at least 5 more months. There it is. See, I knew it was more than that. It would take at least 5 more months for the team to reassemble the craft. Oh, the craft. So I'm good, but the craft, okay. Sure. Past me. Sure. Very creative. The design was complete. The months dragged by. I stayed in the space station in my own private room. Nice. Every night I dreamed of the planet more and more. By this time, though, I became best friends with David. When it was the day of the launch, I was nervous, excited, and scared. As we were shooting, David told me he sent a small, unmanned craft with a camera and recording properties. It will transmit facts back to the headquarters. We can upload it to the system on the rocket when it arrives, David explained. Everyone loaded into the craft. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Well, that was sudden. I'm pretty sure it takes more preparation than that. A muffled voice came over us from the speaker. Not even 1 second later, the sleek metallic giant sprung rapidly upwards with a powerful jerk. Okay. The gravity becoming overpowered by the rocket's 12 200-gallon engines. It was the greatest experience ever, so far. What seemed like a few short minutes was actually a few hours. By this time, we had already crashed through the Earth's atmosphere and began our journey towards the planet. In what will seem like an hour, we will be in Mars' orbit. It will actually be almost one whole day, though. One whole Earth day, David said. I nodded only to accept what he had told me and turned to look out of the window. I see Mars, I yelled with excitement. My heart raced and my head felt hot. David laughed. Probably my 5th time seeing that beautiful red planet. Wait, I yelled out of randomness. We're going to say restlessness. What? David asked, shocked. What is the date? It was December 16th when we left. December 23rd is the day the planet is visible from Earth. You're right. This means we'll see it even better in space. This is great. I'll get to see it with my own eyes, I thought. After the outburst, it was calm the whole way. The engines hummed together as one, pushing the massive tin can, later named the Zeta-1, through space. We're passing through the asteroid belt, one of the associates announced. Everyone rushed to the window and looked. It was beautiful, but something odd was happening. All of the asteroids were pushing past Zeta-1 instead of hitting it. I asked David why this was happening. I had a feeling that question would pop up sooner or later. It's because we've set the magnets in the craft to match the tiny metallic rock in the sediment of the asteroids, so it pushes them around us, David explained. Very intricate, I said. The weird but amazing thing was that we weren't tired at all. Sounds like me now. Calculations show that we were out of Earth's atmosphere nearly 3 weeks ago. We were approaching one of Jupiter's moons, a figure said from the cab. Good. Oh, I almost forgot. I want to stop reading. This is actually getting really good. Like, I'm actually like, what the fuck did I write? What's next? Like, what happens? Like, we get to find out together. Work. You haven't been introduced to the crew. This is Leah. She specializes in chemical history. Ooh, I really wrote a whole fucking background for everyone. Okay. So now we're going to get introduced to the characters, I'm assuming. I don't know. This is very interesting. Even though I wrote this, I vaguely remember the idea itself. Like, I refuse to read it because every time I tried to start reading it, you know, it's always been in my closet. It was like, I started reading it, I was like, that's cringe. Ew. But I'm like, I need to get over myself. Like, let's actually fucking, like, read this. Like, I was always a pretty decent writer. I mean, even back then, shit. Let's see what else I've got for us. You haven't been introduced to the crew. This is Leia. She specializes in chemical history on foreign planets, David said. Hi, said Leia. David continued. This is George. He's an expert on planet biology. He works with me, searching for life on other planets as well. Hey, George said. This is Jeff. He deals with radioactive radars and nuclear physics on planets. Hello, Jeff said. This is Tammy. She is our medical examiner. She will assist us if we get harmed during our voyage. She also works with George, reviving the life of all sorts. Hi, she said. And last but not least, we have John. What he does is deal with the quantum mechanics. He is guiding us towards this thing. How are you? John asked. Fine, I said. All of a sudden, the Zeta-1 began to quake and vibrate. What's going on, Tammy? Wait, what's going on? Tammy had taken the question from me. Everyone rushed to the window and peered out. A huge white object was hurling towards us from behind. John, can you detect what is happening? Dave asked. Well, it seems that the magnets in the Zeta-1 attracted to the planets, and what's this? One of Jupiter's moons? How close are we to Jupiter? Dave asked. We are not close enough to do anything that has anything to do with Jupiter, John replied. Then why is its moon way out here? I asked. Well, apparently it got lost out of orbit, but we still classify as it belonging to Jupiter since there's nothing else nearby. The shaking was getting louder and more violent as the moon drew closer towards us. It's going to kill us! Leah shrieked in terror. John turned dials, pulled knobs, and tapped on gauges in the Zeta's dashboard. The massive spacecraft thrust forward with a bursting, forceful push from the 12 engines. The moon followed even faster. What do we do? I yelled over the roar of the powerful engines. We can shift the magnets in the Zeta to push the moon away, but it's dangerous. Someone has to go out there and switch it manually, David said. But can't you just do it from the cabin? I was just about to think that. It's always shit like this. It's like, why would you design something that you have to go outside of whatever vehicle or craft it may be to change something? Let's find out why. Anyway, but can't you just do it from the cabin? I asked desperately. Well, the controls will begin to fail due to the moon as it gets closer and disrupt our magnetic field. And they may send it also may send a 40,000 volt shockwave into your body and kill you if touched. My eyes were wide with fear as the giant white ball of dust and rock flew towards us, getting closer and closer by the minute. The Zeta-1 was at its maximum speed. I'll do it. Wait, what do I mean? Oh, David, of course, the hero. I'll do it, David said. He tapped a small red button on a wall that said, Lockdown. Every item that was slightly levitating fell onto the floor with a thump. I felt pressure building up in the ship. David pressed a small green button on the door and opened it slowly. He dove out and just shut the door quickly. We could see him on the side of the Zeta opening a small rectangular box. A bright light flashed from the box. He closed it and made his way back to the door. Click! Loud annoying clicks were coming from every inch of the inner walls of the ship. It was as if there were car door locks all over the ship, clicking back and forth, and someone pulled the lock switch. Not more than a minute later, David opened the door and floated in. When he got settled, he removed his space helmet and said, "Done." Then he smiled. We looked, and the moon slowed to a stop while Zeta pulled onward. John slowed the ship down, and all was calm. Finally. In what seemed like 3 hours of soft conversation ended suddenly. Oh my God! Well, we're moving quick here, Tammy screamed, and everyone rushed to her. Out of the window where she had been staring was the great gas planet, Jupiter. We all saw it. Muffled compliments of the planet arose in a whisper. It truly was amazing. Won't we be pulled into it? We're awfully close, I asked as I broke from my trance. And that's where I'm going to leave it. And we'll do a part 2 or... Wow, I do diagrams and shit. Oh, this is going to get good. Okay, so we're going to do a part 2 and 3 because I've already... Yeah, there's a lot more. So, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm going to upload the next ones anyway because I have fucking insomnia, and what better way to spend it than digging up old stories of mine and reading them to whoever the fuck wants to listen, to whoever finds this video. Whatever. We do this shit for funsies. Anyway, to whatever subscribers or followers I may have or may gain, thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next fucking part.